Miller versus Tom Kearns tonight. So you can go ahead and maybe write down in your ballot who you think will give the best speech, and they'll get a double prize at the end of the meeting. So our first speaker tonight will be Greg Miller. Picture yourself, June 2nd, 1984. You're watching an episode of Championship Wrestling. WWF commentator Greg Miller is about to announce the card for the next WWF card at Capitol Center, better known as the Cap Center in Landover, Maryland, on June 9th, 1984 at 8 p.m. Please put your hands together for our next speaker, Greg Miller.
Next Saturday night at the Cap Center, June 9th, 1984, 8 p.m., you won't want to miss it. Every single match from top to bottom is of main event quality. Our first match features SD Special Delivery Jones against Tiger Chung Lee. It's very possible that Tiger Chung Lee's tag team partner, the devious one himself, Mr. Fuji, might be in Tiger Chung Lee's corner. SD Jones had better be ready because those wily Orientals can see any sign of weakness through their slanted eyes. And they might use martial arts, which I believe should be banned from professional wrestling, and jap their way to victory. Our next match is a contest of youth versus experience. On the one hand, you have Tony Garea, who is a former 5-time co-holder of the WWF Tag Team Championship. His opponent is a newcomer to the WWF. You might not have heard of him. His name is Jesse Ventura, but he likes to call himself the Body. This will be an interesting contest to see if Jesse, the Body, Ventura has what it takes to make it professional wrestling. Or maybe he should do something else for a living. I don't know what. But, and this is just between you and me, I've seen some of the outfits that Jesse Ventura likes to wear, and they are really flamboyant. He actually likes to wear pink feathered boas around his neck. That's right, Jesse Ventura wears pink. I think that Jesse Ventura is a little bit limp in the wrist. You might be asking yourself, where's the beef? It's in the next match, as two of the biggest and strongest wrestlers in the WWF will be battling against each other. You have Superfly Jimmy Snuka going against Dr. D, David Schultz. As you all know, Superfly Jimmy Snuka has been on quite a winning streak as of late, as he has been using his Superfly Splash as he would get on the top rope and then jump off the rope onto his opponent to score a pinfall. If Superfly Jimmy Snuka can win this match, then he would almost be guaranteed a title match against Hulk Hogan for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. Will this winning streak continue? Or maybe the good doctor might give the Superfly a house call. The kind of house call that will send him into the hospital. You know what I mean? The only way to find out is to go to the Cap Center on June 9th and watch that match. Now, for our next match, there is a great deal of controversy. If you watched Championship Wrestling last week, you might remember in Piper's Pit, Rowdy Roddy Piper was supposed to interview Soul Man Rocky Johnson, the one and only true Rock of professional wrestling. But during that what was supposed to be an interview, Roddy Piper racially insulted Rocky Johnson. He said some things that were completely undecorous and very offensive. Due to FCC regulations, I'm not allowed to repeat Roddy Piper's racist comments. However, things escalated to a full-scale brawl when Rocky Johnson couldn't take it anymore, when Roddy Piper actually told Rocky Johnson to shine his shoes. Could you believe it? In this day and age, to ask a man or tell a man to shine your shoes? We are going to air that segment of Piper's Pit again later in this episode, in case you missed it, so you can see for yourself what a horrible racist Roddy Piper is and how Rocky Johnson bravely stood up for the dignity of himself and for his people. Now, in case you missed it, and you might miss other episodes of Championship Wrestling, might I suggest that you buy one of those new inventions? It's called a video cassette recorder. That way, you will never, ever miss another episode of Championship Wrestling ever again. And you can watch your favorite matches over and over again through the wonders of videotape. Now, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but I recently had a conversation with a senior member of the WWF's board of directors. He told me, in the strictest of confidence, that the board of directors recently had a conversation with the president of the NAACP. They agreed that Roddy Piper should be banned and fired from the WWF because his bigoted comments have no place in our federation. I know many of you are offended by what Roddy Piper said, and you believe that he does not belong in the WWF. But that firing did not happen. That move was blocked by none other than Rocky Johnson himself. You might be asking, why would Rocky Johnson not want Roddy Piper to be fired after he insulted him so badly last week? The answer is simple. Firing Roddy Piper is not good enough. Rocky Johnson wants to get Roddy Piper in the ring so he can deliver his own special kind of soul justice to Roddy Piper, if you can dig it. So if you hate racism as much as I do, then you will go to the Cap Center on June 9th to cheer on Rocky Johnson. But wait, there's more. Our last match of the evening is one time only, so don't miss it, a boot camp match. As you all know, the Iron Sheik from Tehran, Iran, has been terrorizing the WWF since he arrived in September of 1983. He has hurt, humiliated, and even crippled many wrestlers with his dreaded camel clutch. With a mad Middle Easterner like that terrorizing the WWF, who you gonna call? Sergeant Slaughter. You heard me right. The former Marine drill instructor from Parris Island, South Carolina, and Vietnam veteran will be facing the Iron Sheik in a boot camp match. Now, for any of you who are former Marines or maybe still honorably serving, you would know that if two men have no other way to settle their differences, the way to do it is in a boot camp match. You can go into the ring, dress however you want, bring whatever you want. There is no time limit, no disqualification, and no countout. The referee remains outside the ring, and he only enters the ring to count a 1, 2, 3. There must be a winner. So, Sergeant Slaughter can bring his combat helmet to the ring if he wants to for protection. After all, the Iron Sheik has been known to load his pointy-toed boots with foreign objects. He can also bring his rider's crop in the ring. After all, there's no disqualification, and he can use it to beat the Iron Sheik red, white, and blue. And just between you and me, I hope he does. He can also wear his steel-toed combat boots. These are the very same steel-toed combat boots that Sergeant Slaughter wore when he trudged through the jungles and the swamps and the gook of Vietnam. And he can kick the Iron Sheik in the head with that boot and turn his face into a crimson mask. I understand some of you might be afraid to go to the match. After all, the Iron Sheik has a reputation for crawling over the guardrail into the stands to attack patriotic fans. There is a rumor that he recently did that in an untelevised house show in a small town just outside of Maine. But do not worry. You have my personal guarantee of safety. At the WWF, we place the safety of our fans as our top priority. We will double the number of security guards on hand for that match for your protection. So come to the match. Bring the American flag. Wave Old Glory with pride. And one day, when you're old and gray, you'll be able to tell your grandchildren that you're at the Cap Center on June 9th, 1984 at 8 p.m. and you saw Sergeant Slaughter send the Iron Sheik back to Iran in a body bag. I'll see you at the matches.